So today's video is one for me, and it is, I'm on Mr. Chippy's bench, wait till he finds out, and it is something I bought off eBay, if I can actually get it out. It is a Skytronic 2-amp power supply. So I would think it's probably similar to the Altai one. These are not far off current. Is it? I think they became Eagle branded after Altai seemed to fold. I'm not. It would be a bit foolhardy just to plug it in and see. But I can't remember what the deal was as to, you know, whether it was supposed to be working or not. Had a little belt to its heatsink there, but should be alright. That screws are now a pushing screw. It's the only trouble with heavy things like this. I've just had another power supply come in from Alan. Thank you, Alan. It's a G-Com, and it's Alan says the voltage is high, so that's something which we will repair to find out why the voltage is high. He says it's 15 volts, so normally when they go high they go like 26 volts, the full DC available power, when the regulator fails, but that one doesn't sound like it's quite done that. Not sure the self-tapper screws are ideal, because these are relatively cheap. They aren't cheap, but they are relatively cheap. I mean, I'm a big believer in 2-amp power supplies, because certainly until we had these latest ones with the CPUs in them drawing 2.5 amps, UK CBs have been drawing between 1 and 1.3 amps, so well on top of the job at 2. So apart from that, you've got one capacitor there, which we'll probably change if I've got it in stock, otherwise I'll probably have to order it. The resistor there, I notice, is a resistance wire rather than an actual resistor. And then we've got three transistors, another couple of capacitors, and a preset. So I don't know if I can find a date code on this. You haven't got the transistor exposed at the back, they've actually put a cover on, because that's something about the cheaper power supplies, and you can see in line with rules in this country, it's all properly shrouded. I've no doubt if I take that fuse holder out, it'll be a safe type and not the ones. So it's captive, which is exactly as it should be. It's 20mm captive fuse, and that's how it should be. We've also got its screwdriver accessible. So it's still switching just the single pole switch, it's just switching the live, but that is fine. So we've got mains goes in, just as we rewire those band ones. Mains goes in into the fuse. It's all nicely shrouded, goes to the switch, shrouded, and goes to the transformer. So it's done as it should be. So I think we'll power that up, see what happens, and go through what we need to do. Perhaps this is something that actually works, but we'll still overhaul it anyway. So it's powered up. How does my prod get around that? Let's put this in such a way that you can see it as well. Oh, 13.72. I think we've got a working supply here. So these car light bulbs, not far off 2 amps. And it's supporting that. So that is a working power supply. What we'll do is we'll do the overhaul as if it wasn't. So I'll unplug it. And we'll change the capacitors because we'll be putting higher quality ones in than they would have originally put in anyway. So it looks to me like we just have to unscrew this. We've not got any of those pop riveted brackets like some of the previous ones we're using. It's quite a bit nicer. So we need to have 4,700 microfarads at 35 volts. So it's well on top of the job, that. That's good to see. I'll pause the camera, get those changed. Parts have arrived the next day. I've put there's 2 100 microfarad capacitors. I've just put those in earlier today. So there we have the much higher quality Nikon 4700. It's the same kind of size, slightly smaller, 35 volts, 4700, exactly the same. I think it's 105 degree rated, so it's a little bit better. So we'll cut that strap out and we'll be putting a new one of those in. I've already unsoldered it. I've already unsoldered it. There we go. Negative to the right and positives actually labelled on the board. I'm just going to clean the leads on this, not with a pen, I'm not. I can see some tarnishing on there, and that's the key to problems like dry joints. So pop that in there and bend it down like they did. And now go and get a cable tie. Right, so it's all put back together and we'll pack test it first. So it's an earthed item, so I want to find a bit of case that may well be metal. I think we'll go on that screw hole. Now the bonding on this is really well done. They've taken the earth lead from the mains and it goes down to chassis. There's a nut and bolt there, and then a second one comes from that point and goes to the transformer. So the transformer is not just relying on its mountings. So that's pretty. In fact, the whole thing's really good. I'm impressed. Not often impressed. Right, we'll switch this on, see what happens. Prop that up on something. We should have got some bench what's it dogs on here, but we'll borrow Mr. Chippy's knife. So I'll put that earth, I need to put a bit of pressure on that because it draws 10 amps through. It's class 1. I'm need to switch it on. Ah! And that's a test at 500 volts. So there we go. That we'll plug it back in. And set the voltage up. So I'll do this offload, and then we'll take it from there. Where's all the twagglers on this bench? My favourite RS Type 1, but they stopped doing them. Yes, this is not the easiest thing to set. There we go, we'll leave it at that 13.83. We'll just put that on again. Yeah. Right, I'll now get the other test instrument. Right, so we've got 13.85 showing on this display. We're at 1 amp, so we'll put the load on. And it's 13.84. So I think we'll move this in increments. Sorry, it's 0.1 I've got it on. 0.1 of an amp. Point 2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. 1 amp. So 13.79. So that's about where a lot of UK CBs will be, between here and 1.6 for the thirstiest ones. And then the new ones started around 1.6 and work up, some models even 2.5. Isn't it funny how the older ones take less electricity than the newer ones? But it's because they've got CPUs in them these days. There we go. So we've got 2 amps, and that's where the power supply is rated to. So we're just going to be a bit naughty. I'm not going to take it beyond 3. It's a 2 amp power supply. It doesn't say 2 to 4. It doesn't say any surge. It says it's a 2 amp power supply. That's where we are. So we're just going to pop it up a little bit and just see when it starts dropping dramatically. So it's supported 3. The diodes in there are 3 amp, and it's theoretically you could have a peak of 6, couldn't you, because there's 2 of them, and it's a bridge. Right, well there we are. So it works absolutely beautifully, and I have to say that's one of the best ones I've seen. So there we are. We've done the Skytronic 2 amp power supply. It does have a part number. I think these are only just not current. Has Mr. Chippy got some glasses on here? Yes, he has. it is a 650.651. 650.651 UK. There you go. Thanks for watching.